Sally Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. I'm Press Plus One. I'm Fleet Admiral Dirac of the battleship HMS Insouciant as we continue our campaign against the Lyran Star Empire, and we've finally done it. We've finally gotten ourselves a Monarch battleship carrier, and we're well on our way towards getting a second. So we fully kitted ourselves out last time. We are fully ready for war with all 20 of our brand new Hornet fighters. So let's set off into space to see what we can't destroy. Mainly, we're going to start focusing once again on the Lyran homeworld and bash this thing into the ground. Eventually we shall take it, and there's nothing that they can do to stop us.
Red alert.
So let us red alert and see how much speed we can get out of her. Actually should be a little bit higher than her standard class battleship counterpart because we have 2 less Hellbores, so we can maintain a speed of 10. Not terrible. Although that is not overloading the fusion cannons. So let's go ahead and do that. And watch how that negatively affects our speed pretty considerably. So we have a maximum speed of 6. Interesting. Alright, today we're being escorted by the War Claw, as well as Hero's Blood, which, that's a Heavy Dreadnought and a Heavy Dreadnought. Ooh, okay, this is the better one. This is the XM, so he's got MIRV missiles, and this one does not. A little bit weaker on that case, and we are squaring off against a BBX and a BBX and a PL-17. So the planet itself is completely undefended, but the Dreadnought right here is, well, very dangerous to us. I'm actually going to go ahead and overload everything because we've seen just how absurdly effective that can be. We, in the last episode, managed to completely and totally annihilate a Lyran battleship in one shot. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have there. The amount of firepower that we put out there was just absolutely stupidly ridiculous. And, yeah, I'm still not quite over it. I'm still basking in the glow of that amazingly successful strike that wiped out a Lyran battleship in one blow. Hopefully we can replicate it again, because that was a lot of fun. So, how much power do we currently have in our shield? We have quite a bit, so let's sap the shield budget a little bit while we charge up the rest of our weapon systems. Hellbores are just about fully ready to go. The fusion cannons are fully ready. The phasers are overloaded as well. Just gotta make sure that we have all... Okay, just had to make sure that we were all set up with all of our weapon systems properly. And we hopefully are going to completely and totally butcher this Dreadnought. I'm not going to launch my fighters... Well, actually, I could launch them immediately and defend them if I set them to defend me. So let's put them out into space. We have 20 fighters all in the combat air patrol now. The amount of force that we output is rather ridiculous. So hopefully he's not actually going to defend himself all that efficiently until after we get to point-blank range, and we can hopefully try and kill him in one shot. And already he's starting to take damage from the long-range fire of the Heavy Dreadnought. His phaser's blitzing away, but we're still too far away for him to get any good accurate shots, especially not with our defense shift of 2. So we're doing quite well. He is turning away. He's presenting that open corner again, and already it's being weakened by our fighters. Oh, he's about to have a really bad day. Got to get a little bit closer. And we're going to bounce it, and... Oh, not quite able to pull it off, but the fighters were able to go there for the mop-up. We're going to turn away, try and protect our forward shield, and as we do, that should bring the fighters just within range to do a little bit more striking against him. There they go, and let's call them back now before they get absolutely killed, because he could potentially just suddenly blitz them with a massive amount of ESG power. But they're already doing an excellent job for us as we sort of maneuver around the side of this fight. It looks like he has stopped immediately. Get back home. Get back home, little fighters. I don't want you getting killed. It's very important to me that you do not die. So more missiles going out. We are slowly starting to charge our weapon systems again, but our phasers are at full power. So we should be able to knock our way through his shields once again. Or not once again, this is the new one. So the Starclaw probably is not long for this world. We don't have a Hellbow right now to knock out an ESG, so we do need to be ready for a turn. Gotta get close enough. Add in our fire. And I think he's about to cascade fire. Maybe not. He is remarkably tough at this point. Lovely. And now the reason why I was able to take quite so many missiles is because the AI doesn't actually use the Type 4 missile, they use the Type 1s. So I gotta look into seeing if I can change that, because if they can use Type 4s, that'll make them much, much deadlier. So let's increase the speed of time, because we need to get into range of the planet. We're gonna change our electronic warfare to completely electronic countermeasure, because the planet, well, it's not gonna be able to shoot us, so I don't really care whether or not we have a defense shift or not. I would launch the fighters, but the fighters wouldn't be able to touch the planet, unfortunately. So we were able to just completely blitz through that. 2 battleships versus a battleship carrier and 2 heavy dreadnoughts. Not exactly a fair fight, honestly. Like, even if they weren't Lyrans, even if they were some other force, that's not quite a fair battle. They don't have the capability to quite handle that. And also, let's go Hellbores to overload. Thank you. So now make sure that we have enough power. We can sap the electronic countermeasure budget just a little bit. After all, we do need to get into range of the planet first before we can actually use it. So we're going to try and stop outside of a range of 3, because that'll allow us to just continue to blast away with our long-range weapons while they cannot reply. Pick up the speed a little bit more. I do anticipate he should have more than enough tractor beams to handle all of that. And never mind, his phasers would do the job perfectly fine. We're a bit too close. All weapons fire. Okay, there goes all of his defenses at this point. Marines, how bad? 2 already? Send them over. So 1 Gazelle was all it took, and now we get to steal a planet. Always a nice pickup. So this will be 670 prestige, I believe, which is not bad, especially for no damage on the ship itself.
The ship is ours.
Lovely. Yeah, no damage to the battleship carrier itself. All of our fighter squadrons should be at full strength, and we butchered 2 battleships in extremely short order. If I had been a little bit more aggressive with the fighters, I probably could have left them out there to annihilate the battleship much sooner. Yep, 670 prestige is our reward. The Empire defense is 27. So starting to get quite low, and once we take it, oh, that's going to be such a massive economic boost. Like another homeworld assault. It's because they're a little bit more fun, in my opinion, than shipyard assaults. I mean, if it's a PLPH, that becomes a little bit different. But let's see how much power we can actually handle. I have a little bit of power, I think. So speed of 3 while overloading absolutely everything. So we are being, oh wow, we're being escorted today by the Sinew Bow, which is another heavy dreadnought, but also the Vengeance, which is a Marak battleship. So we brought the pain. Now it is a PLPH this time, and this is another battleship. I anticipate there could be another battleship off in this direction, but we kind of massively outgun them, and as you can see, we're not actually charging at optimal rates here. Let's set a probe to find out exactly if he's alone. I don't think that he is. He is not. According to sensor logs, this is another BBX, so we are once again dealing with 2 BBXs. That is their primary defense at this point. Let's make sure we set up a good defense and attack, and all additional power to forward shields, and get underway. We'll launch our fighters a little bit early on so they can do some skirmishing damage, and then we'll blitz into them, and hopefully we'll get lucky again and roll well enough on the critical chart to utterly annihilate them. What the odds of that happening, I don't really know, but we're going to give it a shot. So we'll increase the speed of time so we can actually get in range of these dreadnoughts before, 6 years pass. But this planet could be very, very dangerous. PLPHs have 8 phaser 4s. This one will have disruptors, 8 of those as well. In addition to that, he will also be packing 16 phaser 3s, so we can't really get anywhere near it. So we're going to have to hold at range a little bit. Alright, all fighters have been deployed. They're all ready to protect us should the worst happen. I'm going to see if I can't cut them off a little bit. I want to get slightly closer than last time for my Titanic salvo, although I am going to have to slow down in order to actually handle how much defense I'm going to need in order to take care of this. So I do anticipate a turn very soon from him, though, because that's what they normally do. Maybe not. Maybe he's going right in for us. Slow down. Alright, nope, there's that turn. Gotta get closer. Get a little bit closer. 3. Oh, the fighters may just do it for me. Come on, guys, open fire with your phasers. I think they've got it for me. I'm gonna actually ignore him. I'm gonna move right on for the second one. That was gorgeous. Which fighter are you? Come home.
Returning now.
Which one are you? Come home. Oh, he's activated his ESG. Unfortunately, our fighters were right on top of him when that happened, so we were not able to defend him like we needed to. But let's call all the fighters home at this point, because I don't want to lose any. The fighters are expensive, they're also our most important asset. So if we can keep them all alive, we can stay effective for much, much longer. Normalize the... Wow, we've just butchered him. Didn't even stand a ghost of a chance on that one. Fighter squadron got down to 2, but he's going to come back home. Yeah, that just was not fair. I'm not going to complain about it at all, but not really fair. Alright, maximize speed time. We're coming in for the homeworld planet itself. So one of the reasons why we set our Hellbores back down to normal mode is because we're not going to be able to get quite so close to this one. Unfortunately, he's going to be absurdly well defended, and so we're going to have to stay off at range to blast him instead of getting right on top of him. Hopefully you're going home, little guy. You can do it. Maybe. Are you going home? Okay, good. I was a little bit worried that he wasn't actually going to go home and then he'd get annihilated by the Phaser 4s of this planet. Now these guys are going to be mostly useless since they're not going to have enough defense to actually survive, or to actually get through the massed Phaser 3 batteries, as well as his... Oh, there's no sound there. As well as his tractor beams. The disruptors might help out a little bit. If we spread out, we might actually help out a bit more. So I'm going to do that. We're going to start maneuvering away. We are at a very close range, so they could open fire. Please don't follow me. I'm trying to get to a different shield facing than you, so that we can actually be very super effective. Let's go to our maximum electronic countermeasure to stop him from protecting himself. We've got quite a bit of concentrated additional firepower as we slow 41 points of forward shield power. That's rather absurd. Yeah, there's no way those missiles get through. It's just not possible. And we are taking side shield damage, which is not good, because unfortunately the planet is so large that the disruptor batteries actually come from our sides. So our forward starboard shield has already taken a little bit of that damage, but as long as we don't take too much, we should be okay. And 47.5 points of power into the forward shield is more than enough to actually handle this. These seem a bit loud. Oh, not quite sure why, but they do feel a tiny bit too loud today. So we're just going to keep bombarding the planet. I think, we're already through the planet, dealing a pretty decent amount of damage continuously to him. I can't afford to get quite too close just yet and bring my fusion cannons to bear with all their absurd, lovely firepower, but soon. Soon, with the help of 2 additional dreadnoughts, we shouldn't have too much trouble of just whittling this planet down to nothingness. And they're just continuing their massive bombardment. So because we're firing so many independent shots, we're rolling quite a few times to actually crit these systems, and so I anticipate we will knock out a lot of these systems in fairly short order. Once we get past the armor, that is. So we really could start engaging with our phasers as well. We have 14 of them. That would reduce our shield power by 24. We may as well. Overload. And start shooting again. Because he's not focusing his firepower on anybody, so we may as well try. And the Hellbores. And I think we took out something important. Oh, yes we did. Marines. 15 Marines remaining. So we're just going to keep plinking away and barraging this as best as we can. We'll get nice and close so we can use our fusion cannons as well, although he doesn't have any defenses whatsoever at this point. So maybe even by the time we actually make it in transporter range, well, not quite. Transporter range is 5.99, so we're not quite going to have him knocked completely offline by the time we get in range. But it was close. Alright, Marines have been sent over to do their job. They will secure the important locations on the planet, and that'll knock the Empire defense down to 22. There's really not a whole heck of a lot they can do to stop us. So, there we go. Homeworld has been captured. 670 more prestige into our wallet as we continue to generate enough cash that we will soon eventually get back up to having enough cash to buy a second Monarch battleship carrier. So just in case, the random damage that suddenly explodes one of our ships for no apparent reason at all, we'll actually be able to buy our Monarch battleship carrier back again without having to worry about anything. Shipyard assault is unavoidable at this point. We have to go after their drive yards to make sure that they cannot continue to produce all of these battleships. And we have brought, once again, the Ancient Kings and the Growler, another heavy dreadnought and battleship combination, squaring off against a battleship and a battle cruiser. There could be a third ship out here, but I'm not so certain about that. Now, we've got enough firepower to basically maul a battleship pretty badly. We're probably going to try and focus on him because we're a little bit better at it than they are. At the end of the day, a Marak battleship, especially a AI-driven Marak battleship, is not quite as good as a Hydran battleship carrier. There's just no other way to put that. We have enough phasers to handle every single missile that they can shoot. Literally, on Phaser G's alone, we have 16 shots. He has 12 missiles. So if he was a BBM, there would be a little bit of a difference there, but he's not. So it does appear that we are properly overloading all of the systems, although we're going quite slow. Let's actually get our secondary support system up underway. So we want a 4 and a 2 on the ECM ECCM side, and maximize the forward shield. Just with all the additional power, it also makes it a little bit easier to see how much power that we can steal from defenses. And that'll be fine. And increase speed time. We could go after this guy. We'd annihilate him in basically one shot, and you know what? He's decided to invite his death, so we shall go and oblige him. Slow down speed and time, and let's not quite get our fighters out just yet, because I want to send my fighters en masse against the BBX. I'm going to send them on a full-on attack run. Oh, he's going for his ESG. Well, that's no longer online. Point blank range. Beautiful. Just beautiful. No other way to put that. Yeah, when you know that you can kill battleships in one salvo, a battle cruiser is not that big a deal. So I'm going to launch all my fighters in attack mode, and they're going to dive on top of this target and hopefully annihilate them with all of their Gatling phasers. One of the cool things about fighters is just how much their damage scales, because 4 fighters does not deal as much damage as 5 fighters, so we carry quite the heavy armament. Oh, and we're not even going to have to worry about ESGs, because the Ancient Kings is going to be right on top of them. Open up that forward shield for him. Fighters, get on in there and rip him open. Oh, they will most certainly can opener him. That was just absurd and beautiful. Get back home, guys. Defend ourselves. Yeah, I may have not quite properly set up just how absurdly powerful the fighters were. The area that the Monarch battleship carrier really gets held back in is planetary assault. It does it okay, but not as good as a plasma battleship. But dear God, those fighters. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Come back home, little guys. And we will be able to defend ourselves without too much trouble at all. I'm even tempted to launch our fighters to try and knock out the Stardogs, because really at the end of the day, these Stardogs are, well, nothing. Are you back to normal? You are. Lovely. Unfortunately, the phaser capacitor keeps taking all of our energy away instead of being a little bit more intelligent on the way that it standardly... Wait, what? How did that get through? Our Gatling phasers were still prepared. Apparently it did, but our forward shields did hold. So in the speed of time, because we're going to slow down the ship, give ourselves a little bit of defense going on here. I don't quite want to fire all of my Gatling phasers, because my Gatling phasers will protect me from incoming damage, but they do deal a lot of damage, so that is something we need to keep in mind. The Gatling phasers continuing to plink away as best as they can. Forward shield taking a little bit of damage, but is recovering. And wait for it now. Ooh, the forward shield is down. Not good. Okay, fighters. I have another fighter. This is the other reason why it did not do so great. Because they are not listening.
Acknowledged. Flying defense.
And you can't rely on the fighters to actually do what you order them to do. Then you have a bit of a problem. Alright, can I order you to return to me now? That's the other major question. Where is my fighters? Okay, it looks like they're coming back for me, so that's good. Hopefully. Anyway, can't really trust it, which is part of the problem. So as much as fighters are an absolute amazing first strike weapon because they will, in general, go after what you tell them to go for the first time, for all intents and purposes in the follow-up, they become much more difficult to use, much less reliable. That is one of the things that really did push them further down on the list, because you can't rely on those fighters because you have no control over the fighters. And die, please. Thank you. So that's another Klingon Stardock down, and now to the last one. Are you coming, or what? I think he is, okay. And increase the speed. Oh no, we're still at maximum speed of time anyway. As we slowly recover the forward shield. So we did take a little bit of superficial damage, nothing too serious. Yeah, the tractor beam got nicked up a little bit, which is a little bit irritating, because it does mean our armor took a bit of a hit. I wonder how the armor of the battleship carrier would compare. I didn't compare the actual stats of the ship list to each other. I took them out and fought in a couple of different battles just to sort of test to see which one I thought was better. Although, to be honest, I kind of knew that the battleship carrier was always going to be better than the Hydran standard battleship. It's just, there's not a huge amount of a contest there. Oh, he's almost back to us. If he's coming back to us all, he might not. He may be attempting to do God only knows what. Well, as long as he's set to return to me, he will automatically teleport back inside at the end of the mission.
Returning now.
So there is that going for us. So fighters getting in there to basically absorb the fire and doing a decent job of knocking their way through. And so our follow-up should be fairly easy here. Just once we get on target, we'll be able to utterly annihilate the Stardock. 3, 2, 1, goodbye. Lovely. So the shipyard is no more. And as all the pieces go whizzing around and drifting off into space, never to be seen again. Right? Oh, maybe. Empire Defense should be down to 17, if I'm remembering correctly. 450 prestige. Oh my god, it's neutral. We're going to take up straight up patrol. It is technically where I would normally end an episode, but hey, we have an opportunity to take the Lyran homeworld in one stroke. So red alert on all systems to overload. We're going to try and take this entire system with one final battle. I don't know what we're going to fight, but it's just going to be us against the world, it would appear. So apparently we can't actually move and charge. But that's okay. We have a little bit of time to prepare ourselves for combat. And wait for the phase capacitor. There we go. That frees up so much power. Go with the standard 4-2 defense setup, as well as all the additional forward shield. Oh, that does not look like a... That does not look like a battleship. That in fact looks very much like a light cruiser. He is a JGPP. I don't even need the fighters for this one, and I know it. So, yeah, let's go. Let's go turn him inside out, because really, there's not much that he's going to be able to do to stop us from doing that. So, hello, little guy. Oh, you brought pseudo-frigates. That's great. Wonderful. That'll improve your chances against me. I'm just 100% positive on that. That's right. We did not even bother to defend ourselves from his ESG. Okay, so that's the final mission to grab the homeworld. So that'll be a huge economic pickup. That'll be a nice sector right in the middle of Lyran space. Deprives them of their homeworld, which is always fun. 150 prestige for that. Yep, there it is. It's all ours in the Hydran Kingdom. 43 prestige. Oh, the next target will have to be, I believe, the planet of 2-2, but there might also be one right here at 1-3. We're going to have to find out shortly, but our little empire off here in the corner is starting to grow. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon. Leave a comment. I will see you all in the next episode.